So now you've got this filtrate in your collecting ducts, and you've got all these hundreds of thousands of nephrons pulling their collecting ducts into more common tubes, and you get more of this filtrate coming together into bigger and bigger collecting tubes, and finally it's all coming together at the renal pelvis into a ureter. And so this filtrate at this point is referred to as your urine, because you've got all of these bigger collecting tubes coming together at the renal pelvis. And so you've got this bigger volume of liquid, and it's ready to leave the kidney. So your ureter, all it does is carry urine from the kidney to your bladder. It has one job to do. That's it. That's all. So at this point, once urine has entered the ureter, in fact, actually, once it's entered a big enough collecting duct, it's not getting concentrated or adjusted anymore. It's the concentration it's going to be. It has the amount of water it's going to have. It's got the osmolarity it's going to have. It's got the amount of sodium and potassium and chloride it's going to have. It's however acidic it's going to be. It's not going to get adjusted. So it's in that ureter, it's left alone, it's passed from your kidney, and it's entered your bladder. So what does your bladder do? It's a bag of urine. It's a sack of pee. It collects the urine, and when your body has finally collected enough of it, it squeezes it and makes sure it eliminates it from your body. So it stores your urine. It does not concentrate it. It does not adjust it. It does not do anything else. It stores it until it's time to go to the bathroom. That's all. And when it squeezes, it should be a one-way process. It should squeeze so that the urine flows out of your urethra and doesn't go back up your ureters. That does happen in some medical problems for some people. We won't get into that today. And as I alluded to, when you urinate, your bladder should push down and contract and squeeze the urine out of the bladder and into your urethra. And the urethra is just a tube that takes urine out of the bladder outside of the body. Much like the ureters have one job to do and the bladder has one job to do, your urethra has one job to do. It is a tube, and it carries the urine from the bladder to the exterior of your body and gone. In males, your urethra does have a second function in sexual reproduction, but for this, we're focusing on one thing. I'm going to show you two pictures of the lower urinary system. So here's a picture of the lower urinary system. It's actually the whole urinary system, but a urinary system in women. And focus on how the drawing is slightly different in males. And focus on that prostate for a second. So being careful with my wording and being very intentional, women is when it comes to eliminating urine have the advantage of not having a prostate. The prostate has a role in the reproductive system. So why am I mentioning it here? So even though the prostate is involved in sexual functions, when the prostate's enlarged or in prostate cancer, because it surrounds the urethra right where it leaves the bladder, it can clamp down on the urethra and make it harder for urine to get out of the bladder and into the urethra. And when that happens, it becomes a narrower opening and you have to pee under higher pressure. And that's a problem. One of the symptoms for men who have prostate cancer or just prostate enlargement is frequent urination, and it makes sense. So because the prostate's enlarged and making it harder to pee, you can't empty the bladder all the way. It's hard to go to the bathroom. When you do go, you strain. You're having to pee under higher pressure, but you can't get it empty all the way. And so because it's not empty all the way, you feel like you have to go to the bathroom again in 30 or 40 minutes. So it's like your bladder is always 85% full. You pee off 5 or 10%. You can't go much, and then you need to go again. And then we will pick up with the rest of the lecture here in the last part.